This video is going to show you how you can reuse your disposable camera. I'm in a love-hate relationship when it comes to disposable cameras of any kind, just because disposable cameras are supposed to be disposable. Yes, I do get that. You're supposed to take it and throw it away. At the time, that was really relevant, especially during my youth, but nowadays, it may not be the most economical and eco-friendly to do. In saying that, why don't we try and reuse them? I mean, you can get the same images and more pictures out of it. So instead of going to the store, buying a bunch of disposable cameras that you're only going to use once and toss them out, in this video, not to make it all weird and stuff, I'm going to show you how you can open up one of these cameras and use it again. I mean, this particular camera is reloaded and this camera is reloaded, and they're cool because not only do I get to reuse the camera, I get to also do some saving around. So I saved this camera around since it is a camera that expired in 2002. So when I go to car shows and stuff like that, I dress in my early 2000s wear, or I'll dress in my 80s wear, carry an 80s disposable or 80s camera, and take pictures of cars. So that's a cool thing to do. You can use it for your prop and then actually have it be functional. That's awesome. I'm going to show you two common types of disposable cameras that you can open up. Cameras that aren't able to be reused are the Fuji disposable cameras. So if you're looking to reuse those cameras, I advise you look elsewhere and not use a Fujifilm disposable camera, because those cameras are unable to be reused. Photography also makes a camera that's single-use reloadable. There's a little notch on the side here that you can open up and reload into the camera. Most common types of disposable cameras that you see out there are the Fujifilm disposable cameras and the Kodak. I'm going to show you how to open up your Kodak disposable camera and show you how you can reuse it over again. These are the two styles of Kodak cameras that you will see the most often. This one is the newer design. I started to see this probably say about 2 years ago. They started making these, if not longer, I don't know. This one is an older one. This expired in 2006, and this will be more or less what you'll get if you ask your camera store when they process the film. But there's something very different about both of these, which amounts to a very different shooting experience for both. Let's start with the new one here. So the new one is a little different than the old one, and I'll show you why in just a moment. But to open this up, there's little notches along the side and the top of the camera that's usually covered up by the little plastic case that they show, or the little sticker that they put on. And to open it, you want to gently, and I mean gently, pry underneath it. Just lift it up. Make sure that there's no film in this camera when you're doing this. Okay, there we go. We're lifting up slowly. And we lift up this side here. There we go. And then just work the bottom off. So that's how you open the camera. Now, I'm going to open up the old camera, and then you can see the differences on why I say they amount to a different shooting experience for both. To open up the old camera here, we're going to do the same thing as we did before. Gently pry against each clip. So in this case, I'm going to pry against this clip first. Carefully pry up underneath this one and pop it open. Come around to this side, gently pop it up and apart. There we go. Same for this one. And yes, this camera has been opened before. And open it up. There we go. And the camera's open. If they're open, here's where the old design and the new design kind of differ. The old design has this kind of notched, as you can see, it's notched at the top of the film canister. So when you open it up, these have little notches on the top that go inside of the take-up wheel. Unlike this one here, where you can stick a standard 35mm roll of film inside and it would work just perfectly fine. And of course I'm taking that Fujifilm and it would work perfectly fine. Unlike this one, where you need this notches on the top in order for it to work, or else it won't work. Other things, the difference in the take-up spool that you're going to be winding to, because you have to wind the film all the way over to this side first before it goes on this side. So that has to be completely done in the dark. Right here and right here are both different. The spools are different, so in this case, the new one allows me to wind it on without having to go through the whole process, where this one has a little key that gets covered up in this older casing. The placement of the battery is also different, so this will corrode and get on the film, where this one is unlikely to get on the film. Right here, when you open up the camera, this little notch right here tends to break, and that's so you can open up and just extract the film canister, and that's it. That's all that's for. That's why you want to be careful when you're opening this up. Same for this one. This one doesn't have it, so it's like it was made to be reused. Unlike this one here where it's all disposable, this one has a reworked design with a much firmer back on it, so it doesn't break on us when you're opening it. To load the film, it's a pretty straightforward thing. What you want to do is you want to take this, the leader, cut it so it fits inside the notch, or if you want, you can tape it however you feel. On this one, you're going to have to take this, cut it, rewind it in the dark into the other old canister that you can ask your local film lab for, then go in the camera, twist it on, and then lay it in there. It's just a huge heartache. My best recommendation for this is to kind of ditch the old design. So if you have an old disposable camera, if you want to fiddle with that, be my guest, or be your guest in this case. But kind of just ditch this design. Buy yourself one of these for $10, and in this case, I can just keep winding and I can just keep putting more and more film in it every single time, and then I can just shoot it and have fun. And no one will even know because it's a disposable camera. I just took the Kodak badging off. To close this back up for this particular camera, you have to carefully, and in the dark you would be doing this, just slide that in. It'll slide in. Just be sure not to drop anything. There we go. Lay this down here. And then we're going to take the cover and then just carefully work from the top, move to the side, and then the bottom, and clip it back together. And once that film is loaded in, you can go ahead, wind it. Your film counter may be off just slightly, but wind it, and it will be like this camera here, where I've already loaded film into it. I've marked what ISO was in it. I accidentally bought an 800, so then I have to put 800 speed film in here, unless you want to push process or pull process, depends. And I'm ready to go shoot. Same procedure for this one. You would wind it. Once you get the film inside of it, you would take the lid, and this is where it gets tricky for this particular. I'm going to keep that battery out. It's going to get a little tricky here, because you don't want this folding up on you while you're closing it up, and you definitely don't want this coming off. So more hassle. But in this case, what we're going to do, we're just going to carefully work around, and in the dark you just got to feel it out. Oh, there we go. Already a fault. So I'd steer away from these. Otherwise, if you're wondering about the Fujifilm disposable cameras, these are not reusable whatsoever. I cannot get this to work whatsoever. I can't open it without breaking it. These are truly disposable and very bad for the environment. So I'd do with this, I'd save them and use them once, and depending on everything, I would just have this from when I was younger. I ended up just buying well, not buying, but bringing back my old snapshots, and it gives me the same quality photos, and it has a flash, unlike the Fujifilm. Hopefully this video helps you when you're deciding what cameras to buy and to capture your memories with. Do you want something that you use once and get rid of, or try it over and over again as a cheap, inexpensive camera, not only to give to kids, but to have fun with? Totally a preference choice here in this one. Hopefully this video helps you. If you're the person who likes the artsy looks to get the true look, well, this is a good way to do it on a more cost-effective scale. So without further ado, check out my channel content for more. Stay safe, practice social distancing, and hopefully the coronavirus will be over before we know it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day.